Okay, thank you. Thank you. We're ready to reconvene into the open meeting for the budget. So I need a motion to reconvene. Eric, second. Jane, all in favor? That's carried. So moving forward in the agenda, the next page is page 91, and it's a summary of operational changes for department. Does anybody have any, we've just debated all of that departmentally. Does anybody have anything further that they just want to make comments on before we move on? Eric?
Just a point, thank you to staff in terms of operational costs and cost control. This is less than 1% here. It's like 0.5%, basically $36,000 increase in operations. So this budget is focusing on the capital side of things. So thank you for responsible presentation of operations.
And I repeat that. A very good job, everybody. Teamwork. Thank you. Anything further before we move on? Okay, so that was by department, and then the next page is 92, summary of operational changes per expense category. Anything further on that? Okay, moving on then. Summary of tax levy impact by detail. Any comments on that? Then we go on to summary of the tax levy impact by detail. Page 2, page 3, page 4. Any comments on any of that? Eric?
Just a question. The increase in emergency expenses, is that related to flooding? On page 34 of the budget, 93 of the document. 34 of the budget, yeah.
Through the chair to Councillor Dow. I believe it was increased due to the expenses from the previous year, but I can pull that up. It'll just take me 1 second. Yes, it's increase in CPR training and flooding.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, being none, move on to page 97, which is transportation services and the road program for 2026. Any comments or questions? I believe that we dealt with deferring the budget amount from the Deloro Road to the Centerline Road. And I think we didn't make this. This is where we need to make that. We did already? Okay. Any questions, any further questions on the road program? Okay. Then we go on to the capital. So that's sort of the conclusion of our operational section of the budget. So now we're moving into transportation capital. Any comments, questions on the transportation capital? Ron?
Yeah, yes. I have a comment I'd like to make on the next page. We have 100,000 in bridges reserve. We have 164 already in the budget, which is 264. And I'd like to make a proposal that, I know, Mike, you want to put 100 in. I understand that, but I'm really excited about this 4.8. And if we put 36,000 in extra, that puts us putting 300,000 into bridge reserves. Is that correct? what I said? I think it is,
Through the chair to Counselor Jerry, it would be 364 in total. If you did
but
what's in the budget plus the recommendation. But otherwise it's 264.
no, what I'm trying to say is instead of Mike's 100, make it 36, which is an even 300,000 in bridge reserves. Is that correct when I'm saying? Because we already got 100 going in,
Yes, it's
100,
correct.
164 in the other part of the budget. So to make it an even 300.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to do here, if you get me, Mike, I really like this number and I'm trying to keep it. And I know what you're doing and I agree with you 100%. I do. But if we could just make it a nice 300 going into reserves, that won't increase this number a lot because we're only adding 36,000.
half a percent.
That's my proposal.
Okay, are you making that motion?
Sure. I don't know what to call it. It's just an idea I had at lunchtime that. Okay. Actually, it's Mike's motion. Okay,
Okay, so that's your, go
That's
okay
what I'm
with the
doing,
motion. That's
what
the
she
wording
said.
that you want. So I need a seconder for that motion. Eric. Any further comments on that motion? Jane?
Well, I think that we're cutting off our nose to spite our face. Because I think that, the additional 74,000, 64,000, would go, not a long way, but it would be, get better in reserves. Because as we know, there are challenges already in the bridges. I think you can. That's my thought.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Through the chair to council, I can let you know what the increase for each amount is if you would like.
That'd be great.
So for 36,000, the 5.14. And for 100,000, it would be 5.77.
Thank you. Any other comments? Questions? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I could live with 5.77 because I think we initially started out, it was well over 8% or 9% when Nancy first came out with her figures, and then we've got it down to 5 something now. I'm just afraid that we are going to miss opportunities coming down the road where we won't have enough money to get grants. And I know what Ron's saying, but I would rather put the 100, I would rather put the full 100. I'd take 36 if I had to, but I would rather take the $100,000. And then we get it over and done with this year, and we can go back to putting the amount so we set down to do yearly after this. But this extra 100,000, I think, would make a huge difference going forward.
Thanks, Mike. Go ahead, Ron.
I hear you, Mike. I still agree with you, but could we table this till we get through all these pages and come back, and then maybe that's where we'll land at 577, but there might be more needs as we go along. Just the thought, if we could.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, why don't we, can we table this to bring it up at the very, because this is going to be the biggest amount I think that we're going to be discussing. So if we bring it up at the end, that's a good idea.
So we're already voting on a deferred motion.
Are you deferring the deferring?
Yeah.
I just,
Well, can we just defeat the motion right out now and then we'll just bring it back? I'll make a motion that we
No, I don't,
bring it back at the end.
no, we
Wouldn't be able
can't
to
do
bring it
that,
back in
Mike.
the end.
The only thing I could recommend is just withdraw your motion for now. And then that leaves the other motion in play, right, Kristen? So if you just withdraw your motion, then you can make it after we go through, like you said.
that's what you want? Okay, done.
Good. Negotiations.
So who was the seconder? I forget. Eric, are you okay with that, Eric? If you withdraw it at this point in time, and then we can revisit it toward the end, after we've kind of gone through. Anything else? What's that?
Sorry.
Okay. I have one, the transportation capital, page 3 of 3. And, the estimated, cost for 2027, is 8,343,000 something. I don't believe that we can commit a future council to that, kind of, I guess, request or whatever. And I think, there's been discussion with the Works Department regarding that. So maybe, Eric, could you speak to that, please?
Yeah, through the chair to council, looking at the capital schedule for the next foreseeable few years, looks like we should be able to shave that number down significantly.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
Through the chair, if, I think what we're getting at is we're approving what the annual amount is here. This is the 10-year capital plan. And obviously, when I look at this, it shows that there's been a number of decisions that have deferred. And so 2027 is quite bulked up. For that said, I will work with the transportation department with the idea of revising and, as Eric just said, fine tuning what it would be. And then because this is a rolling total, we'd be looking at our asset management plan, our roads need study with the idea of refining it. Council has already, on the base of the advice so far, already swapped out and changed what's happening this year. We would do the same on a rolling forward basis from 27 going forward. And again, looking at our asset management plan that council just approved at the end of last year.
Thank you. I don't think this requires a decision. This is just, a matter of letting the Works Department know that, that council, I believe, or I am anyway, a little bit uncomfortable with that large commitment for 2027. And, you know, maybe Eric and Celeste down the road, just give it some more consideration. Maybe, I don't know if you need to report back under any circumstances, but I know that you've been thinking about it, and that would be great. But I just think it's for next year. It's pretty significant amount of money. Anybody else have any comments? Eric? Well, go ahead, Eric, and then Mike. Part C.
Just a question through the chair. Road sign inventory here, $10,000. Is that replacement? That's not another inventory funding study, is it?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow. No, I believe that is just for replacements.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, through the chair to Council Dow. I just wanted to note too that that's from reserves that wasn't used last year.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Now that you brought that up, Eric, unfortunately, I believe that $10,000 has just kept rolling ahead for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't think we bought $10,000 worth of signs in 3 to 4 years. Anyways, that being said, I understand your concern, Jan. 8 million, but if you look, the year after that is 5 million, then 4 million, then it goes down to 3 million, 1,000,003. Like it's well over, it's in the multi-millions of dollars going forward. So sooner or later, that's why $100,000 to me right now is peanuts, because I'm just looking at all these things going forward. We don't have anywhere near that kind of money in the next 10 years of anything.
Read Mike.
So I'm not too worried about the 8 million next year because it'll never get approved. We will never have that money. And the same thing with the 4 million the next year after that, we won't have that money either. So
I'd put
it's,
a realistic number there.
yeah.
I think, you know, we have to look at it practically. And I just, you know, in having discussion and talking, with Ron, and we just sort of said that that is really an excessive amount because it's unrealistic is the thing. It's not practical.
They're all unrealistic, just if you take a look at the whole next 10 years. We
Well,
don't have that money.
you know,
So,
be a whole new council next year and who knows, this 8 million, I'm sure would hit them as a shock if they, if they thought that,
you're assuming that we're all gonna get turfed out.
you never know.
I'm hoping that's not gonna happen.
Any further comments on that, Ron?
To the chair, to Nancy, I have a question. Just for clarification, Nancy, there's $100,000 in road maintenance. That's in the capital side, so what does that pertain to? Anything capital related or maintenance?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, I believe the intent for that 100,000 is for anything that needs to be done throughout the year, any maintenance that needs to be done. For instance, if work needs to be done, where there is a water main break, then we have money to make those repairs.
Okay,
And it can
So-
be, I think it's used for emergencies as well, where
okay.
roads is concerned.
So while we're on that topic, a water main break, have we distinguished what the roads part is and what the water part is in this budget in terms of a water main break and restoration? Is there a number in the water department that covers restoration?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, it's always been a gray area. The water department has never really had a budget. It's never been budgeted for those kind of repairs. So the roads department has always kind of absorbed that in their budget. I think it's definitely something that maybe down the road should be considered, but right now, we've raised rates so that we have money to do that kind of stuff in water.
So that kind of identifies as $100,000 then where it could go.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't think we usually have $100,000 worth of repairs, but yeah, there is some money definitely
Yeah,
used for that.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question.
Thanks. Anyone else? Eric?
So just to quickly go back to that road sign inventory, not a motion, not direction. I just encourage staff in the department to use that roadside sign inventory budget. Through the Economic Development Advisory Committee, that's one of the things we've spent a lot of time talking about, as well as volunteer time specifically going out and identifying specific road signs within the municipality that are a problem. So I'd encourage you to maybe relook at that list. And I know it's a very busy time of year when you get into construction season, but I would just highly encourage to please use that budget.
Thanks, Eric. John?
Through your chair to Councillor Dow, I've already had the conversation, Celeste and Eric, I've already talked about that. They're already looking at how they can do that.
Thank you. Anything further on that? Okay, so we're finished with comments on transportation capital. Okay. We'll move on to environmental capital. Comments, questions? No comments, no questions? Okay. I'm gonna make sure I got the right page. 101, 102. So environmental capital schedule, page 2 of 2. No further comments or Ron, go ahead.
To the chair to, I don't know who this is for in terms of this money, but Kayla, I guess, catch basin as identified, is that repair to catch basins or is it, what does it mean when it says 24,000 for that?
Through the chair to you, Councillor Derry, that's actually the roads department. It just falls under environmental.
Sorry? I didn't get that. I didn't do that. Oh. So that should be in the roads over in here.
Through Through the chair to Counselor Derry, it's always been in the environmental section.
Okay, okay, I get you. So they move on. Thank you.
And this is work that was identified in the asset management plan.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything further on that? Okay, next, fire department capital schedule, page 103. Any comments? Go ahead, Ron.
Just a question, and this is to the chair, to Mike. Being that Shannock Bridge now reduced to 13 tons, Mike, and I know you said your trucks are 22 loaded, or one is anyway. We talked one time about a dry hydrant on the other side, and have you had any more thoughts about that and the cost of that?
Through the chair to Ron. We're still doing a feasibility study on that.
So it's, we don't have a price and you don't know whether you need one or not, or,
Sorry, that's correct.
okay, thank you. So what is your plan for Shannock if there's a fire?
Yeah, we have a pre-plan in place where, excuse me, truck 504 is just under the 13 tons, so it's able to cross. And that way we can establish water supply on the opposite side of the river.
We have a plan. Great, thank you.
Anything further? Go ahead, Eric.
Just a question regarding the personal protective equipment. I know we've always been told that the fire department tries to replace 3 sets a year. So we have in here $30,000. 16 of that is coming from reserves. Is that because that was unspent in 25? Or we're just pulling from there?
Through the chair to Council Dow, that's correct. The fire department actually received a grant. So they're able to purchase a bunch of their PPE through the grant. So we didn't have to use all the capital funds. So I've carried it over so they can use it this year.
And I guess through the chair to Mike, is that can $30,000 with inflation still cover 3 sets? Is that still the plan to buy 3 sets this year? Because it seems that number doesn't really change.
Through the chair to Counselor. Yes, that's, excuse me, yes, that's correct. The suits are remaining roughly the same price, and the 10,000 per suit covers the costs of any necessity.
And your 3 a year is still a good pattern to stay on in terms of replacing obsolete suits that are getting near it's a 10-year mark, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay, anything further on that? I don't know if this is the place. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Thanks.
I just have a question that we have a truck that we're going to replace. It's a 2007 Ford F-250. Is that the fire chief's truck? Because we've got it, so we aren't going to place it for another 8 years. And it's already a 2007, so that would put it at a 31-year-old truck almost.
You want to respond to that, Mike? Please?
Yeah, I believe you're correct, Mike. The 2007 Ford, it was due for replacement, and we've just been using it less than we have in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? I'm not sure where in this document, I saw the transfer to reserves of $50,000 for fire. I would like to make a motion that we reduce that to 25, because if we're looking at maybe joint services, or we're looking at sort of reviewing the organization, I'd like to reduce that to 25. Yeah, it was, but I can't remember, I can't find the page for it. That was one of the considerations, or no. Was. Yeah.
Mayor O'Neill, it's in the operational that we've already gone.
Oh,
through.
okay.
Yes.
So should I have made that motion back then? Or,
You can make the motion whenever you like, but
okay, well, I'd like to make that motion, until we sort out, the end result of the fire services. So is there a seconder for that motion?
Sorry for clarification, to the chair, what? You want to remove the entire reserve contribution?
No, the 25,000
25,
versus
sorry,
50.
okay.
I think we did that last year as well.
Page 14, transfer to reserves.
Okay.
Last year 40, this year 50. And the motion is suggesting to 25.
25, yes. So can I get a seconder for that? Ron? Any discussion on that? Go ahead, Mike, and then Jane, and then Eric.
Can Nancy look up and see how much money we got in reserves for the fire department for trucks? Because they are super expensive. And even if we do anything, there is a joint service, we still got to replace trucks that we own and that going forward, I would assume. I'd just like to know how much money we got in reserve for
Yeah.
trucks right now in the fire department.
Nancy?
through the chair to Councillor Stevens, we have approximately 238,000 in reserves for the fire.
Mhm.
And I was gonna comment that, we've cut it the last couple years, down.
Yeah.
We do still have to have the equipment up there. And it's quite expensive, so that's just something that council should consider.
Yeah, I'm loath to cut it because we keep cutting it, but those trucks just keep getting more and more and more expensive just to replace one. I think our last truck was well over $400,000, $500,000. So 200 and some thousand is not going to go very far.
Okay, I think, who did I say? Mike, and then, yeah, Jane, and then Eric.
So just so I understand your motion, because you're not sure when, how, or how much the shared service is gonna cost, you want to reduce the reserve from 50,000 to 25? Is that the intent of the motion?
Yes. Okay, Eric?
I'm just kind of looking at the forecast here and I want to better understand. Right now, the next major piece of equipment is tanker 504 in 2032. Is this long-term forecast accurate that that's the next piece that's going to need to be replaced?
Mike, can you speak to that, please?
Through the chair to Eric, yes, you're correct for large equipment. There's smaller trucks that already passed their replacement date.
Through the chair to Nancy. So this 50,000, Nancy, is already currently in the budget as it is, right?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, yes, it is.
4.8.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, nothing further on that. So I'll call that motion to a vote. All in favor? Okay, that motion's failed. Parks and Rec capital schedule. Yeah. Parks and Rec capital schedule. Any comments, concerns, Eric?
So question here. So we've talked about Mag's Landing and approved that. On the capital schedule, it's got Booster Park boat launch, estimated cost 25,000, and then it has 25,000 allocated from other revenue. What is that other revenue?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, it's parkland fees. Parkland fees.
Okay, so through the chair to Jeff, then will it be your plan to replace both of the grates then at both facilities?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, it would be my plan to replace the Booster Park boat launch in 2027 pending the draft budget that year.
Okay, so why do we have this in here for 26?
That was not my intention. That's what I would put at.
It's showing also in 27.
And that's where
That's,
I believe there was a miscommunication. I can vouch that my intention is for it to be in
Okay.
2027, not 20.
but there's no levy impact and it's not from reserve, so it doesn't, we can
Doesn't matter.
leave
then.
that, yeah, okay.
Jeff, did you want to comment further?
If I could also, as far as the Booster Park swing gate, it is a residual numbers from, former management of the park, and therefore, certain numbers in our budget are reflective of past year's budgets. I would say Booster Park swing gate, that is, preliminary chats, not something that we don't have a firm place in this moment for. Same with I believe there is one miscommunication, or as far as the lawnmower for parks, it's the 25,000 we're asking for this year to replace the mower and not 20,000 again in 2027.
Go ahead, Eric.
My next
Jane?
Sorry, my next question here is related to the Zamboni. So we had quite a bit of debate about the Zamboni last year and expected lifespan last year. We didn't put 25 into reserves. This year there's plan to put 50. You had estimated replacement cost at about 135,000 last year. Is that still what a replacement cost would be? Because I'm looking at like estimated costs for 27, 28, and 29. What do we need to fund to replace that piece of equipment? And then follow up, I guess, to Nancy, what do we have in reserves for that piece of equipment?
Apologies. Through the chair to Councillor Dow, the replacement cost is last year when I was looking into those numbers, 135,000, it would be, by the time we are ready to purchase one, I would place it at in between 135 and 150,000 given inflation. I would say it is imperative we begin to budget accordingly for the replacement of our 2008 Zamboni ice resurfacer. The Zamboni is used hourly during arena operations and outweighs many other line items in the 2026 draft budget, both inside my department and out. I have been hired to consider asset management and the future of our municipality. To continue to ignore this necessity and to not consider its replacement is setting ourselves up for an emergency council meeting. We are very fortunate that are we good? No, or should I just stop?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, we have just over $60,000 in reserves for arena. So no, we don't have
Okay,
a
so we have
specific
nothing
number.
allocated specifically for the Zamboni. And then further down, I know Jeff has applied to the OTF grant for dehumidifier seasonal controller. Is that still going to need to be done even if we don't get the grant? Is that something that ultimately will need to be funded?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, that is correct. If we were unsuccessful with the OTF grant, I would be looking to replace at least one dehumidifier next year at a cost of $70,000 in that range.
Okay. And then my last question for you here, replacement floor, the rubber flooring in the arena, $120,000 with 27,000 coming from reserves and 93 from operating. Can you speak to just what the need there is?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, our current lobby floor carpet our current Flooring in the arena lobby is carpet and is well past its life expectancy and is in need of replacement. Carpet is not a suitable flooring for an arena. Sports caliber rubber would provide the best alternative to our current setup for cleaning, purpose, and aesthetics. These funds would contribute to a much needed facelift for our lobby and dressing room area.
So that 120 number, does that do absolutely everything? Get rid of all the carpet? What's the coverage of that kind of budget?
That would cover our existing carpet as well as hopefully the rest of that. I would look to prioritize first the hallways and the main 4 dressing rooms. And we would do whatever we could with that approximation.
Okay, if that number came down to maintain kind of some of the reserves in that department, is that workable for you, or it just makes economic sense to do it all at once?
It just makes economic sense to do it in this way. If we were to focus on just replacing the lobby carpet, then we would be looking at a higher expenditure for a return trip and to open this up again. If we have the means to do it, I say we tackle as much as we can.
And is that an item that likely wouldn't rank high on a grant application for any funding because it's like not really related to operation of the facility?
Through the chair, I believe when we wrote the grant for the dehumidifiers, we believe that was a much needed necessity for the arena, as far as ice building and general climate within the arena. I have to put the carpet and the rubber on the back burner if need be, because it is aesthetics, although it is well past its life expectancy and in need of replacement.
Yes, sorry, I was just meaning like the flooring wouldn't qualify for, it wouldn't be a good application to submit for a grant. Should that be available for that item?
There's definitely the possibility that it would still be a good and obtainable goal.
So if you didn't get the grant, the OTF grant, the dehumidifier, would you use those flooring funds ultimately towards dehumidifier if that had to be done?
I would make a report and come back to council for your direction.
Jane?
Nancy, just a couple questions about parkland reserves. How much do we have in parkland reserves right now?
I'm not sure if I have, just 1 second, I'll look. I'm not sure. Counselor Lakatos, I don't have that answer. I'd have to look into that and get back to you.
Okay, so, and just for clarification then, the other revenue is coming from parkland reserves, which has no impact, on the revenue. It's coming from reserves. So are we looking at the 25,000 this year, or is it something that we're not looking? Because I know there's some discussion about whether it should have been in there or shouldn't have been in there.
Through the chair to Councilor Lakatos, if the Parks and Rec Department aren't able to do Booster Park this year, there is no effect on the tax rate, and we will carry it over into next year's budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we were talking about arena. Is there anything further to do with the arena, Ron?
Well, this isn't arena. I haven't got past parks yet.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, we were talking about Zamboni, I guess. I was
through the
thinking we
chair.
were done.
through the chair to Jeff, this is, at the bottom of the page, Jeff, it has 43,000 for, I believe this little building here, right? The little Parks building. What are you doing? Not what are you doing? What's that gonna do? Is
Sure.
that wiring and stuff like that?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, the electrical has been fully overhauled. New fixtures in the park shop are installed. The mold remediation has been completed. Currently we are I've accepted a quote and just waiting on supplies to arrive for replacing the front door. Looking into upgrading the security system. I purchased paint and ceiling tiles have all been just replaced. I've purchased plenty of supplies to keep my staff busy for the month of April while I am away.
Could you tell me what it cost us to do the roof?
Was it, I believe it was 55,000 at the end of,
55,000, so we haven't spent $100,000 yet. That's a pretty cheap building
yes.
that we were gonna tear down. So, good work on that, Jeff, because that's not even $100,000, you got a really good building, so.
Thank you very
And
much.
it was gonna be a parking lot, so we sure dodged that. Just saying.
Just,
Yes, it is. Good for Jeff for digging in and getting all this, listening to me harp
absolutely,
about it.
absolutely. Okay, so anyway, I jumped ahead there a minute ago, but is there anything further on Parks and Recreation? Okay, seeing none. Thanks, Jeff. Good job. So move on to the arena. I think the arena's the next one, right? Yeah. So any comments beyond the Zamboni? I think we've talked about that, but any further comments on the arena? And we talked about flooring. So nothing further. Okay. Medical Center and Memorial Center capital schedule. Comments, questions? Jane?
I just have a question and I need clarification. So when, and Jeff, I guess this is for you. When we passed the library budget, there was a question about excess funds in the bank account. And when I asked Patrick what the monies were going to be used for, he said, well, if there's a problem with the stairs, they'll fix the stairs. Are the stairs not our responsibility?
They are our responsibility. Are we referring to interior stairs, exterior stairs?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking about the capital items that we have here, and I always thought anything to do with the actual building and the memorial building was ours.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on the medical center or the memorial center capital? Okay. Moving on. DeLaurel Hall and admin. Any comments? I think we talked a little bit about the DeLaurel Hall in terms of revenue sources and going forward. Anything further? Ron, are you still looking? Okay. Nothing further then on DeLaurel or admin. Okay. Fairgrounds and tourism capital. Comments, questions? Well, I asked, but nobody commented. Did you have a comment? Okay, go ahead. We'll back up.
Through the chair to John, the strategic plan is in here this year for $20,000. I know last year we had an estimate of $40,000. Just question where this 20 came from and what that looks like to you.
Through Chair to Councilor Dell, excellent, and thank you for the question. Looking at how other jurisdictions have done strategic planning exercises and also looking at whether it's a refresh or from scratch, our strategic plan is a number of years old, out of date. That said, there are a lot of pillars on that which could be used as a basis to do a refresh. So looking at other jurisdictions, speaking to other CEOs where they've done this, the price seems to be have come down for doing that. And I think the idea was to do the project based on what the funding is there. So this to me is reflective of probably either competition in the market or with the idea that those costs have come down as they become either other jurisdictions have done their plan and therefore there's less out there. But again,
And do you think this document would be something that would be in the capacity of the position as we've outlined the roles, responsibilities, and skill set we're looking for in the new position related to economic development and communication?
I think this isn't specifically to that role. The strategic plan is corporate. So I think the idea here is that this would define, I'm never going to not say that, that's not the right way to phrase it. We always need to have a strategic plan for organizational wise. That should be on a 3 to 5 year horizon that delivers the annual work plan, that delivers all the other plans that fall underneath. Ours is out of date. But that said, I think that this is something which would be basically I see a consulting project with someone coming and doing it, not the role and responsibility of that new role. But when it is all done, it would include council, it would include all the department heads and staff and probably the broader community. But that said, it would all be done within that envelope. That would be my hope.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
And then on this list as well, renovations to town hall, 25,000. What is that item?
Through your chair to Councilor Dow, again, another excellent question. This facility houses a lot of people. It is sort of older. There are issues with respect to space. We have swing spaces that right now our IT service provider sort of docks in one office, as is bylaw, as does VISB. If we bring in summer students, there really is nothing better than a desk in the hallway. For myself and the clerk, there's virtually no room in the back. We have no lunchroom for staff. So the intention there is to be able to, and then we have another staff person coming. The idea is that we will use a tourism center for staff and for summer students. I don't wish to put that person in the center. I wish to be able to have an office here for that individual when they're hired. So that puts us busting at the seams. The idea is to look at how can we create more office space within the footprint of this building. And working with Jeff, we've talked about a few things, don't land on an idea, but the idea is that needs to be done to house staff as we're coming forward, existing staff, but the other part being also to ensure privacy and confidentiality in some of the conversations that go on within the office.
Thanks,
So
John.
what does that look like though? So where are we gonna put more offices?
Again, through your chair to Councilor Dow, I've looked at the idea of maybe even creating office space on this floor, but it would have to be done in a way that's sympathetic to the cultural heritage of the building, the architecture here, but the idea of looking at not in the Belfry, that would be me. But the idea of looking at where we can see where there is some dead space, we have storage, but we also need to look at where some of our filing is. So again, the idea would be to look at where we could squeeze more space out of that.
And have we got quotes for any of that work? Where does this 25,000? Is that enough?
Through your chair to Councilor Dow, my hope is that enough. I want to be fiscally responsible in anything we're doing. The worst case scenario in conversations, again, just generally with facilities manager, with Jeff Young, just looking at the idea of what we thought is a ballpark. My hope is, again, be prudent with the taxpayers' dollars, but at the same time, try and see what we can do. So my hope is that would be enough to be able to come up with a solution. If not, then it would be something I'd have to come back to council with. But again, being very mindful of the fiscal situation.
Thanks, John. Anything further from anyone else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor, maybe to remove that until we have a plan. Especially if it's going to be in this space. I think this space is very important for residents. There's a lot of history in this building. What is that going to look like?
Are you making that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a seconder?
Yeah.
Maybe I have to second it first and talk about it. I'm not doing this right. I'll second it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, go ahead then, Ron.
Yeah, so with that motion, Eric, are you asking that we don't put any money in the budget to do that work this year, or how do we get that money back when.
Yeah,
Well, I would like to see a plan for something like this if you're renovating in this space. Like what makes long-term sense in terms of investment into this building?
Well,
Yeah, I agree with the plan. I'd like to see one too, but if we take the money out, we have to throw it back in later.
I
That's
can
all I'm-
Yeah.
withdraw or amend to approval of this based on a plan,
Yeah, I like
what
the
that's gonna
plan
look
too.
like.
I agree. with
well,
Go ahead, Mike.
well, yeah, I wouldn't want to take it out. Again, we're gonna take that money out, and then if we go to do it, like Ron says, we don't have the money. And I don't think they're gonna go ahead and just whack up a couple walls upstairs and do it without coming to council without the plan. So there is gonna be a plan. I got enough confidence in council and Jeff and John to know that they aren't just gonna build something there and then spring it on us. So I would hate to take it out. I'm not for it.
Thanks, Mike. Anything, anybody else? Go ahead, Jane.
My concern is if we have a plan first, no, when we have a plan first, not if, when we have a plan first, and then we go ahead with doing some of the plan, I don't think 25,000 is enough to put up a wall. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but, I'd like to make a friendly amendment to the motion that we reduce it to 15,000 for a plan to come into place, some kind of a structural design plan. So we know what we're doing, and then we'll have a cost come forward as to what we do.
Like I just don't know. Is this one office? Is this 3 offices? Is this planning for like what the long-term growth of staff is gonna be like? That's my question.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Through the chair to council. I think that like in order for us to get in a plan, that's going to cost money. And with recommendations, and if we find that we can't do it for 25,000, I think at that point, our report would come to council with the total costs and possibly with permission to use some reserves to finish the project. If you take it out of the budget now, it lowers taxes, but then you're digging more into your reserves. And so right now, the tax rate is relatively low. And it keeps the tax rate from going up and down. So the money's there if we need it. And if we need more, then we would come back with a request for reserves.
Go ahead, Mike.
I agree with Nancy. Like, we need something to start with. And maybe we don't know what we need now. So let's put the $25,000 aside to get started on this at least. And then as Nancy says, if they have to come back and it's $40,000 to do the entire job, come back to council and ask for 15,000 out of reserves. But if we take the whole 25,000 out, we're looking for 40,000 out of reserves, which is going to knock them down. And then next year, we're just going to put taxes up even higher to pay for the office. So I would rather have it. And if John thinks we need it coming forward this year, to wait till next year to do it is a non-starter. So I would hate to take it. It's $25,000. We need something there to get going with. And right now we have nothing. And 15,000 isn't going to cut it, I don't think either. I don't think 25 is, but at least it'll get us most of the way through and we can take a small amount of reserves to finish.
Thanks, Mike. John?
Through your chair to council, it was never the intention of just, I've got 2x4s already in the back and we're just going to get going. The intention was to have that discussion, look at what we could afford to do, what the cost of that would be. Again, keeping in mind the space, maintaining the cultural heritage of the building, and something that council will be comfortable approving going forward. It was never the idea in the absence of having that.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I would just suggest that should be presented before the request comes forward, right? The request should be based on what that looks like, is just my opinion, but points taken from fellow council.
And go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, we already know it's going to be more than $25,000. So I would like to at least have $25,000 set aside already to get going. Because like I say, if we don't, we're gonna have a $50,000 increase in next year's taxes, which will be way more increase than it would be this year. And alls I know is sitting around waiting to do something, the prices are just going up and up and up. I don't think we're gonna see any prices come down. So if we can get it started for the 25 and finish it off in the reserves, I'm all for that. But I understand Eric wants a plan, but we don't even have any money to get a plan.
And if I can just say, like, we've been talking for a long time about our need for storage. We've got files up here on the stage. I think we've got files in the basement of the memorial building. I think as part of this whole plan, those kinds of things need to be dealt with as part of that. It's the storage aspect of things, you know, like there's 2 rooms downstairs that are full of boxes. And I realize they have to be accessible. But I think that, you know, we have to be mindful of that's a space that's being occupied with files that maybe we can rethink, you know, how that should be. So I'm fully in support of that. And I see the girls also, they don't have, as the ladies, they don't have a lunchroom. They eat at their desk, you know, and like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I don't think it's particularly, you know, I don't think it's a good thing. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I just think a plan's a good idea. I don't need a plan from some construction guy. John and Jeff can give us the plans that we need. I'm okay with that. Just say, here's what we're doing. Here's how it's gonna look. And then go forward. I agree with the plan. I agree with leaving the money there too, but that's the kind of plan I'd be looking for. Something Jeff could scribble on the back of a piece of paper would suit me just fine.
Well, and we've got building inspectors in the building that
Well,
I'm sure will be,
They have a vested interest.
I'm sure they'll be helpful, and if not,
know,
they'll be enforcing.
That's the kind of plan I'd be looking for.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm sure they'd be helpful in
Yeah.
making sure that whatever we do meets the code and so forth. Anyway, we have a motion on the floor and a seconder, so
I'll amend that to be approval of funds based on a report or plan coming forward.
you okay with that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Simple.
Anybody else?
Yeah, like not an engineer.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does this look like?
Okay, so any further comments? I'll call to a vote, all in favor. That's to keep it in, keep the 25,000 in. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, not to remove it. Okay, just so we're clear. Okay, so all in favor, just so we're clear on that motion.
Can you please reread the amended motion then?
So it would be leaving the $25,000 in with use contingent on a plan being presented to council for approval.
That's kind of wishy-washy though. You're leaving it in, but then if there isn't a contingency plan comes in, what happens? Like, I don't understand the amendment.
We need the plan to approve it to grant the funds to fund the project.
But
So
the
it-
25,000 stays in.
The 25,000 stays in because if the plan is approved, then we have to fund it. So the funds will stay there for it, but based on whatever gets presented.
Okay. Okay, okay, so I'll call based on Eric's amended words. I'll call to a vote, and just to be clear, this means that the money stays in and a report and a plan will come forward to council. Am I clear on that? Okay, so all in favor of that? That's carried. Okay, does that complete the admin part that you wanted to speak to?
Are we done?
Done with that? Okay, then we'll move on. To the fairgrounds and tourism capital. Any comments? You want to take a minute to look at it? Page 108.
Perfect.
No comments then? Okay, so we'll move on to the curling rink capital. Any comments, questions? Go ahead, Eric.
Just a question through the chair to Jeff, I assume. Have these two line items here got quotes for them?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow. We have gotten quotes for the concrete repairs of the main entrance and structural beams outside. There are general building maintenance that needs to be completed on this building. And in addition to the sort of larger quotes that we've received. So these funds will help achieve those means.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just see that we don't have repair the roof on here, and this is probably the first time in 10 years that I haven't seen repair the roof. So is it not leaking anymore, Jeff? We got that done, the insulation, the roof, the whole thing, and it's now watertight?
Through the chair to Deputy Mayor, are we referring to the arena roof or the curling roof?
The curling roof.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
No
Thank you.
repairs have been completed as of yet. We have discovered after snow load this week that there were additional leaks occurring, more significant than in the past. I helped the president of the Curling Society on Monday remove all the snow and ice buildup on the roof. And since then, things are better, but that will be something to address in the 2027 draft budget.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
Just a point, I think when we have extreme snow loads like we had this winter, a lot of roofs that didn't leak are going to leak just because of the buildup. And what happens is the ice freezes at the overhang and the water backs up and finds any crack or crevice upstream from there that it leaks into. So maybe I suggest that in future winters, we make sure that we clear as much snow off the roofs as possible, especially down near the eaves, as a maintenance feature all through the wintertime. And that should not just apply to the arena roof or the curling roof, but roofs that we have in there. I know up our way, a lot of the roofs on the cottages and the houses up there have been shoveled twice just because of the amount of snow and ice that's built up this year. I think it should be a maintenance thing that's done all the time, and we'd eliminate probably 80% of those leaks.
Anything further? I just wanted to, again, going to the 27 and the 10-year forecast or whatever, I'm shocked at the numbers. Page 109. You see where I mean?
So through you, Chair, I think that is a rolling total based on this table is all of the pages that
Okay.
precede it. And so much like our asset management plan, the majority of all the requirements from a capital perspective are dictated by roads,
Okay.
bridges, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, when I looked at them,
It's the shock and awe of the table. Yeah.
okay,
You were scared.
great. Anything further on that, on the curling club? Right. Okay, seeing none, move on to page 110, loan and interest payments, 2025. I think this is just a summary provided for information and transparency. Anybody have any questions or comments on that? No comments, Nancy? No?
Through the chair to council, for the loan and interest payments for 2025, in the process of dealing with Infrastructure Ontario right now for the debenture from last year that was supposed to be done, but we had to have our asset management plan done, and stuff like that. So that's why it was delayed, but it's no tax impact this year.
Thank you. Ron?
So, through the chair, Nancy. Our total year end is 3.383, blah, blah, blah. Is that what we owe?
Correct.
On
Yeah.
top of that, we owe for Bridge 2. How much is that?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, it's included.
Oh, it's in there too?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. There it is there.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I feel better about that now. Okay.
Yeah, Pearl River Bridge.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't look for it. Thank you.
Anything, any other questions, comments? Mike, did I see your hand up?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, second from the bottom. But
Yeah.
I just want to remind us that we still have that 100,000 to discuss before we go on too far.
Yeah. We'll do that at the very end, will we, Kristen?
I thought we were getting close to the end, just didn't want it to go by.
We are getting close. Thanks for the reminder though, Mike. And then we've got the tax authority report. I don't know, anybody have any questions, comments, or Nancy, did you want to speak to it?
No, it's kind of changing as we're going through the budget right now.
Thank you. Okay. So I think before we go to the considerations, do we want to deal with that 100,000?
No,
Or you want to do the considerations first?
yeah,
Everybody
It's-
okay with?
it's part of that.
Yeah. Okay. So the considerations. Do we need to vote on these individually, Kristen, as they come up for? Okay. So number one is Van Sickle Road in partnership with Havelock 2, reserves for bridges in addition to the proposed capital budget. EA and 3 is EA and design for Forsyth Street, water and sewer and roads. 4 is Public Works Garage expansion, engineered detail and design. 5 is Highway 14 in partnership with Sterling Rodden. Offers cost savings for our portion, which is 400 meters. We don't have any information on a total cost. And 6 is the tourism building parking lot, and it needs quotes. So I'll open it up to council. If pick one, if you want to speak to one, or Paul, Nancy, do you want to comment?
Through the chair to council, I just wanted to comment that Highway 14, I had spoke to the CAO for Sterling Rodden. Before I was going to make a recommendation to add this to the budget, but they have cut it from their budget. So that is why I did not make a recommendation to add it.
Thank you. So the fact of do we want to just eliminate number 5 then? Knowing that? Ron?
I'm wondering if we shouldn't, eliminate it from this year's budget and look at it next year. That's what I would recommend.
I just want to say that we've done at least three delegations to the ministry to get funding in cooperation with Sterling Rodden, and we have not been successful. So I know that Sterling Rodden, I knew they were going to take it out of their budget. So I don't think we can afford to do it without them is the other part. So I just wanted to make council aware of that.
Just
Go ahead, Mike.
Just on top of that road has been on, we've been looking for grants for that road since I came on council. So it's been since 2014, 2015, we've been turned down every year by the province. So far we've not got any funds to do that road.
And I keep saying when we do these delegations, I compare it to like it got downloaded to the county and then downloaded to the municipality. Highway 62 is provincial. Highway 37 is provincial, south of Tweed. Highway 41 out of Perth, is it? I think they're all provincial, the north-south routes except 14. And I keep sort of pushing that, I think the province should be sympathetic to that, but they're not, of course. But anyway, just so you know that we have been constantly sort of putting a presentation forward to, whoever we could get to listen and delegations at Roma or at AMO. So we'll continue to do it, but this year it's not gonna work in the agenda.
So I just out of curiosity, not a recommendation. So it says, offers cost savings for our portion, which is 400 meters.
Yeah, theirs is a much bigger portion
So-
than ours.
Where? I thought ours was much bigger too. So where does our 400 meters start and where does it stop?
Well, where the trail crosses
Right.
14, well, in that general area, right, Ron?
400 meters is a piece we're gonna repair. I don't exactly know the distance. It goes from the beer store to the track. But the 400 meters represents the piece that we're gonna.
Okay, so 400
short
meters,
piece, yeah.
okay,
That-
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Anything further on that? So we're just gonna not consider that.
Right.
Okay. So, okay, anybody want to talk about number one? I do. Go ahead, Ron.
I think there's a need in the future for the partnership with Belmont Methuen, but presently we don't have the money in our budget this year, as well as we are coming into a new agreement. I'm not sure of the date of that, next year, I think. So I think we need to put that on hold for now.
Okay, any other comments?
And maybe
Okay.
John can weigh in a little bit more on that. I don't know. if I
Sure.
Covered it enough.
Sure, through you, Chair to Councilor Derry. The mayor and I met with the mayor, deputy mayor, and CEO for Havelock Bethune. Belmont Bethune, what the clerk said. A couple months ago to discuss this. We are in the last year of the existing agreement. They are advancing this, and I think in their budget process approved it. We originally had the idea of a cost estimate significantly less than this, around 800, not quite 770, with the idea that with the capacity and the abilities of our roads department to be able to reduce that overall project cost and then a 50-50. Havelock has come in with this refined number of the 825 being our half of a 1.65. We do not have it in the budget. I think for Havelock, they may not be happy with this decision. At the same time, we all agree that the road needs to be worked, but we don't have that in our budget for this year. It'll be something that I'm sure they'll respond to in terms of future work, because again, it is in bad shape. There has been some work done, but the cost is beyond the ability for the municipality this year.
Okay, anything further? Okay, so that's number one. We're not going to do anything with that. Two. This is where
Can we come back to that at the end?
are you procrastinating making a decision?
I'm wearing Mike down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just want to see how much more other monies that might be spent, and we'll come back to that and have that as a finale.
Not a problem. Okay, so 3. Who wants to talk about EAM design? Thank you, did Ron.
Okay, I didn't have a chance to talk to Kaylee about this, but that's like water, sewer and roads, and I'm sure that little amount is not gonna, as far as doing the EA right now, I don't think they have the money, and I don't think roads has the money, so it's money that's not well invested, in my opinion. But having said that, between myself and the roads department, we've kind of put our heads together on that, and we've kind of come up with maybe a plan that might work next year, and maybe Eric wants to just talk about that for a minute.
Through the chair to council, we have talked about options, about a shave and pave, so that would be milling 40 to 50 millimeters of asphalt off of the existing road and adjusting the catch basins, potentially crack sealing, and then repaving a new top on, which would be quite a cost savings compared to the 1.6 on for next year.
Okay,
That's of course, this is even this year's budget. It's just an idea that we've been banging around, because only reason I want to bring it up now is the public needs to know we're not disregarding that road because it's very, very rough, but we're trying to find a solution that's affordable, that'll make it a better surface. So this 50 mil shave and pave will be, anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 to do the entire section. So that might be something we'll look at next year, not this year, of course, but at least it's something down the road that we can make that road better. That's just something we want just to know about.
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, I see it also indicates sewer, water and sewers. Because I would hate to go in there, pave the road and do all of that work and then come back in 3-4 years and dig the whole thing up to fix water lines and sewer lines. Are the water lines and sewer lines in that area needing to be replaced yet? Or is this just, if we had that kind of money that we could do that?
Through the chair to Councillor, there's about 10 years left in their lifespan. They're due for replacement in 2035, according to our asset management plan.
Okay, so I take it you just hope that we'll have enough gumption to get the money from the government to help do this going forward, right, Kayla?
Yeah, through the chair, we're working on building our reserves again so that we can.
Yeah,
take
right. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, Mike, I've taken that into consideration when we talk.
Mhm.
Same, I don't want to pave something, and tear it up, but
No,
50 mils, it's not a big expenditure and it would buy us some time until we can provincial funding to do the full blown job. So,
Yeah.
5 years would be nice to have that done for 5 years and it make a smoother surface anyway. So that was,
I kind of figured you guys would have had taken that into account. I just wanted to make sure people out there knew that.
yeah.
Well, and it would give it a, it is the entrance into the municipality and,
Yeah.
having a smooth entrance and, an appealing, sort of entrance into the town. I think that's kind of important, almost as important as the infrastructure in some ways. So anyway, I think that you've come up with a good thought there, Ron. You didn't want to make a motion to put any money aside this year toward that.
I don't know. I don't want to spend a nickel on it. That's the plan moving forward for next year. That gives the roads department all year to come up with a plan on pricing and all that. So
Okay,
no, it's just putting it out there for thought.
okay. Thank you. Anything further? Being none. 4 is Public Works Garage Expansion Engineer Detail and Design. Anybody want to speak to that? Go
I
ahead,
can
Ron.
talk to that too.
That's atrocious.
That money is to expand the works garage out there now, and then having talked with Celeste and Eric, they don't feel, and maybe I should let them speak, they don't feel there's a need for that at this time, spending that kind of money for just the design and detail, because we don't know
Yeah.
what the future's gonna look like, so why spend money on engineering if we haven't got money to build the building? So that's my opinion. And they may want to add to that, I don't know.
Anything, Celeste, Eric, that you'd like to add to that?
Through the chair to council, we believe that we can get by with what we have now. Like, we need to do some building maintenance to what we have out there for sure, but overall, like, it's gonna work for us for a little while yet. So.
Thank you. Jane?
So that's the building maintenance that you're talking about. Is that already covered in the budget?
Yes, it is.
Anything further?
I-
Go ahead, Mike.
I just find $200,000 to design a garage is atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be somebody else out there who can do it way cheaper than that. I mean, I don't know what we're considering. Dylan, I know, talked about it previously to redevelop a portion of the, I think it was a building across from the main garage was one of his ideas. But $200,000 to draw up details for a garage, that's crap. That's half the cost of the garage. I don't know. If that's what it is, I'm in the wrong business.
Thanks, Mike. John, you wanted to comments?
Through your chair to Deputy Mayor, we don't want to build a garage mahal. So from my perspective, whatever the thought that went into this before, it's something that, again, through Celeste and Eric and other conversations, we'll revisit this with the idea of looking at what we have versus building something a little bit larger and more ambitious.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay. 6, the tourism building parking lot. Comments? None? Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I guess through the chair to Jeff. What's your thought on this parking lot? Is it to expand the 75,000? Is that to expand the parking lot, or is that to resurface the parking lot?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry, this figure was a residual number that came down from a former manager. In my personal point of view, after looking into this project, I believe it was something that was in discussion between a former manager of my department and the former economic development manager. As far as expanding the parking lot, you can't get closer to Highway 7 and you can't get closer to the playground. So the only way would be to go into the cobblestones and closer to the building. And even if you did that, I don't see how you would make any more parking in that place. If anything, I will be looking to 2027 to be looking at the library parking lot. That parking lot's in much worse condition. I personally feel that the tourism parking lot is manageable for the time being.
Perfect.
Thank you. Anything further? So I think we've taken that off the books as well. Okay, Ron.
I want to make a motion to put $100,000 in the bridge reserve.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Well, it's already been seconded, Mike.
Dang, good.
Oh, he wore me down.
Do we need to have Kristen reread the motion, or are we okay with what Ron just said?
Whatever, yeah.
Maybe you should reread it just for the public's benefit.
So Councillor Lakatos moved, Deputy Mayor Stevens seconded that council increase bridge reserve contributions for 2026 by $100,000.
So we have a mover and a seconder. Any further discussion? Eric?
Just question through the chair to the treasurer. Are we at the 5.77 now with that then?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, yes, we are.
Okay, any other comments? Being none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Ron. Parks and Recreation, Green Municipal Fund, Growing Canada's Community Canopies. I'm not sure what that relates to. Sorry?
Through the chair to council, there's a presentation done a few meetings ago, a girl from Quinny Conservation, I believe, who came and did a presentation about
Yes.
tree planting.
Okay. John, did you want to comment on that?
Only through your chair to council that it's a program through the Green Municipal Fund. There's opportunities to be able to get dollars to do that. If it's something that council wishes to explore, we can look at it, but it's not something that we're advancing right now. But again, there are a number of different funding pots. I think it's our obligation as staff to be able to bring these forward to council and see if it's a good fit.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Go ahead, Mike.
I had a discussion with Jeff, that we would, or I would ask for $500 on the green fund, because what we can do is we always have trees left over from the tree giveaway. And my idea was, and this is what Quinty did last year, trees they had left over, they planted them in peat pots at the conservation building down in, I guess, or in Trenton. And staff took care of them over the summer. Then they sold them off in the fall. our thought was, or my thought was, is in the fall, which is a better time to plant them anyways than the summer, is the trees would be bigger, healthier and everything. And Parks Department could use them in several locations around town, putting in a bigger tree than what we would have. And our cost for the pots and things like that would only be about $400 or $500. So it would save the trees that we have left over, and we would have a good tree stock to put into our parks or wherever else we need them, because we got a lot of trees dying around the area now. And it would just be easy to do, and staff could take care of it down at the arena or a place like that where they have water available. That was our thought anyways.
Okay. Any other comments about that? Do with, anybody want to make a motion or?
Can I-
Mike, is that related to the tree giveaway we do every spring?
Yes, the money that we spend on the tree giveaway, this government program that's out now is very specific. If you had money in your budget already for trees, you couldn't leverage it into doubling it. Whereas this way, if we ask for an extra $500 from council to go into this, we will get $1,000 back, which we can then use to buy trees and buy, like I say, buy the peat pots and all that. And Jeff's staff could water them at a convenient location where they're all growing. And the other problem we have is when we plant the small trees, they tend to get run over by the lawnmowers because people can't see them. So this way we'd be planting a bigger tree later in the fall when it's cooler and trees do well or do better being transplanted in the fall. So that was just sort of our idea, to get some money, extra money, and get some extra trees for the municipality. So I would put a motion forward that we set aside $500 for the Greener Tree Fund.
Hey, you're making that motion, Mike?
Yep, I'm making that motion.
Seconder for that motion? For $500 to put towards this tree program. So we have a seconder. Any further comments? All in favor? Okay, that's carried. $500.
If I may, Chair, we need to make a IT break. I think Councillor Dow's computer has gone and died.
Sorry?
Need 5 minutes for a break just because Councillor Dow's tablet has died.
Oh, okay. Need a motion to pause for 5 minutes. Can I get a seconder? I'll move it. Can I get a seconder, Ron? All in favor? Okay, 5-minute recess.